Hey there, how are you?
A bit bummed out
A bit
because
bummed out. Okay.
things had gone differently. I would have presented you with my official girl power budget deck.
I see. Um, well, there's always next month, obviously.
Yep.
But for now, we have Recovery Girl. Hit me with the pitch. What's going on with this Recovery Girl deck?
Well, it's a very simple premise. Force
Okay.
my opponent into a deck out while making sure I'm at full 100% health at all costs.
Okay. Our goal here is to gain health. We just want as much health as possible.
Correct.
Uh, Again, we're playing My Hero Spotlight, right? So things like
Now,
this Rising
those are
Scarlet
the only decks I use.
are on the table. You're down for set 1 cards?
Well, yeah, like I said, I only build MHA Spotlight because that's what got me into UniVersus in the first place.
Okay, makes sense. So that's easy. I click My Hero. We've got the life symbol. I search. Are
Oh,
you...
wait, what if the girl power cards count as well?
They would. They would. Okay, I will click all for now so we can get the girl power stuff. We'll look at girl power and then we'll move on from there.
Yeah.
So my question is what do you need my help with? Great pitch. I love the pitch. Make my opponent miserable while you are at full health. And then what do you need my help with?
Just some additional tweakies. I just presented you with not only some girl power cards that I thought would be a good fit, but also cards I already have. That's the main template. So I
Okay.
just needed some tweaking,
Okay.
as usual.
I think the number one issue that I have with the deck is this number right here. I think everything else looks pretty okay. The other thing that I think that we need inside your Recovery Girl deck is to take advantage somehow of this bottom enhance of like your attack gains throw. I want like this a big powerful move in order to like dumpster my opponent once I've gotten a bunch of blood transfers into my momentum, you know?
Well, I mostly built up a lot of cards that I just simply typed in health in the card search text and basically just added whichever cards automatically give me a bunch of health.
Sure. I don't hate that. I think we can attack this idea from 2 angles though, and we'll feel pretty good about it. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit of scrolling. I am not unbelievably familiar with the girl power cards, and so the girl power stuff I'm gonna have to scroll a little slower, but the regular ones, I'm a little better on, or the non-girl power ones, I mean. Okay, we just skip all of this, skip all of these. Page 2. Actually, you know what? I'm past that, so I can just do this. Boop. Okay. This card's pretty cool. Okay, alright, okay.
Also, I kind of got a bit confused with what happened with Snack Time.
So Snack Time got banned in Standard, but it did not get banned in My Hero Spotlight. I do not know if it will be banned in My Hero Spotlight because there's not a Spotlight tournament scheduled anywhere. And so it is unsure if it will be there or not, you know?
Well, I just got a bit worried because when I checked my Symbol of Sweets deck, putting Snack Time in it automatically labeled the deck as retro.
Yeah, it's because UVS Ultra doesn't the main format played, right? Like 99.9% of the the formats that are played are standard, right? You are the minority when it comes to your value in the game, which is okay. You 100% should feel no obligation to feel like you have to play standard, right? My Hero Spotlight is a perfectly acceptable format.
I know it's just that I prefer playing this format because I really like the show.
Yeah, that's okay.
I mean, granted, my favorites are a bit skewed compared to what others like. Case in point, the fact that I put Tokoyami so high on my character rankings list, while most of the characters are just lumped in the neutral area.
Sure. Sure. Man, I wish we could have Wound Restore in this deck, huh? First enhance remove, gain 5 health.
Well, if there
That
was
one's
an
pretty
MHA
good.
reprint,
Yeah, we only hope, right?
yeah.
This one is pretty good. This one is pretty good.
Oh, I only got the one Young Heroes card from. Well, I only have one copy of Young Heroes, but I can always switch it out.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little talk in just because of like what your attack lineup looks like. We have to have some amount of assets in our deck. But we will get there, I promise. These. There are no life 0 diffs. Interesting.
Also, a quick heads up, I was unable to attend the Jetburn pre-release, so I would every card that I end up finding for this deck will be set on the order online list.
Okay. I think that is acceptable. I am such a massive fan of the life symbol right now. That it is very fun for me to go through and build life decks. No speed reviewed. If you have at least one asset,
Well,
yeah.
I agree, and I just remember that when Jetburn came out, people were telling me to switch out Midoriya 2 for 5.
Yeah, you could make that work.
Well, it was mostly because I said, "Hey, which of these new cards would work best for my Midoriya Uraraka tag team deck?" And they were like, "Oh, Midoriya 5 works better with Uraraka compatible wise," and I ended up switching out all of the pure punch cards for charges.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that a lot.
Well, tag team decks are all about compatibility.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. I need this to be here. We already have that one when I click this. Okay, and then 2. Add a card with trigger value of 6 from a discard pile to your hand. Discard momentum, gain 2. Change it. Scroll down a bit. Scroll down a bit.
Kind of disappointing that Jiro's cards don't have the air symbol for girl power this time around.
Yeah. There are a couple good ones there.
Well, it was mostly because with Ragdoll, it was all about deck manipulation to reflect her power.
Mm-hmm.
But if there were no matching symbols, what was the point?
Sure. That makes sense. -2, lost in thought.
I see you got used to the new symbols.
Yeah. I thought it was important for my job, you know?
I'm still using the old symbols due to familiarity.
Yeah, that's okay. I just like know that they're not going to go back. You know, like.
Well, it's just because of my brain processing. That's all.
Yeah, that's okay. I think that is acceptable. Okay, and then 3 diffs. What do we have? Thank you so much. Incredible.
I'm not even sure if there are going to be any MHA Spotlight tournaments.
There might be at some major events, right? So I think that like if you decide to go to a regional or something, I would be. I think that having some side events that are MHA is pretty cool. But I don't know how many are going to be main event spotlight decks. Okay. I have a big long list here in your sideboard that I think is very neat. And so I wanna talk about them real fast. So
go ahead.
First and foremost, Nejire Flood, it just says enhance gain 2 health, period. Right? And then if you're at max health, this deck gets 3 damage. It is an ultra rare from the new set. And so I think it'll be a little difficult to find for like this exact second, right? If you wait a set, wait 2 sets, and find it eventually, I think it'll be cool. If you open any in a pre-release or you find them cheap online, I would go get them. So I'm going to leave them in your sideboard for now. But I think this card is very cool for exactly how you want to play this deck. You want to play this card.
I'll keep that in mind.
Deadly Ambush. If this attack deals damage, gain 2 health, your rival loses 2 health. You're allowed to make it a throw with your character to make sure that it deals damage. Right? So like this card is a 6 low for 5 that is a throw that burns them 2, you gain 2. It I think should be like your main kill condition in the deck. It's also a starter deck card, and so if you go and you buy 2 of the Toga starter decks, right? You'll get a ton of cards, and you'll get 4 Deadly Ambush, which feels very good.
Yeah, but I don't like getting a bunch of starter decks if I just want multiple copies of one card.
I think that there are other cards in there that you could be putting in other decks that could be useful. But I totally understand. The other idea is maybe go look up what Deadly Ambush how much it is online, because there are so many out there that exist. And so it might be $1, right? But I think this card is a very
$2,
good,
and I can manage.
Yeah, it's a very good kill condition. Spiral Blast, enhance, gain 2 health, period. It's also an echo attack, which means if you have a momentum, which is very easy to do with your character that gives something a throw, you get to do this a second time as you discard the momentum that you got previously to do it. This card says gain 4 health, and if you're at max, it gains +2 damage. It's a 3 high for 7 throw. Incredible.
195 is cheap.
How much?
195.
Incredible. Forceful Blow does not gain you health, but it does have Powerful 4. And so if you have 3 momentum with this card, you give your move 12 damage, make it a throw, and now it's a 4 mid for 17 throw. This card kills people. This card kills them dead. It's very, very strong in this character. Knife Slice says the next time your rival will lose health this combat phase, they lose 1 and you gain 1. It's got an incredible deadlock in hand, so if your rival loses 2 health. It's a 5 low for 5. That is a deadlock threat. It's pretty good. These 5 attacks are all pretty decent in your idea, and we do need to increase our attack count by 5 more cards in order to, get up to the number that we need. Because we need to have 20 inside of a 60-card deck, especially as a 5-hand size character who doesn't draw any bonus cards. With me?
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss in 3 copies of Deadly Ambush. I'm going to put in 4 copies of Spiral Blast. I'm going to put in 2 copies of Forceful Blow, 2 copies of Nice Slice, and see where that puts us. 26, that's too many. I'm going to cut some cards over here. Vital Impact. Vital Impact says lose 2 health, gain 3 health. That is not nearly as good as things like Spiral Blast that just say gain 2. This card basically says gain 1, whereas this card just says gain 2.
True.
And then the other half of this, of if you've played a card from anywhere other than your hand this turn, it gets powerful 3. Isn't that great because it's hard for you to play another card from your that's not from your hand. It's just on Spiral Blast. So I want to take cards like Impact out. That puts us to 24. Maybe we should just kill the Knife Slice. I also want to kill the Villainous Teamwork. I think there's just better things that we can be doing with instead of this card. Especially because currently you don't have an asset.
That and Vital Impact were essentially cards I got from the Undaunted raid set.
If you want, I can leave them in, and we can move some stuff around, right? Like Double Muscle Mauler is like an okay thing. Like if we did that,
I mean, you can take out the Villainous Teamwork.
Okay.
It was mostly a placeholder.
Love it. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put Muscle Mauler up to a 3-of, and we have 20 attacks. Beautiful. Let's move on to the actions and assets. So we no longer need an asset because we don't have the card that specifically, the attack that specifically looks for assets. But we do have Hatsume's Design, which says flip if you have at least 1 asset, gain 2 health. That is a blank card in our deck because we currently have 0 assets. And so the idea is we can either take this card out and put in something else, or we have to include at least 2 assets. It is your choice.
Well, there is a new area coming out.
There is. It is a little tough to get. I think you get like 1 in every. You can have the chance to get 1. It's a 1 of 11 chance in 2 out of every 6 boxes. And so going back and getting the old one probably makes more sense. And I'm sure it's pretty cheap.
Well, I am curious about those Gold Tips Imperial.
Gold Tips is pretty good. Gold Tips is bonus momentum. It's a low block that you can block with, and we're very light on our low blocks. I think that this is a pretty decent card in order to put in our deck. It serves a lot of really good spots.
And it is a refreshing blend.
Yeah, I think it is a refreshing blend. It is. Gold Tips is right here. I think a 3-of is kind of cool in our deck that, like, this card wants to use momentum, this card wants to use momentum, this card wants to use momentum, this card wants to use momentum. So, like, having a card that slams a bunch of momentum into our that gets a bunch of free momentum is pretty cool.
It is.
Okay, let's move on to the foundations, right? When we look at our difficulties, we've got the 4 Recovery Girls Kiss. This is all pretty good. Sweet Satisfaction, Fruit Tart, Armored Muscle. I think I'm going to kill the Rising Starlet. I get that it's very good if after you build this card, gain a health with Recovery Girl, gain a health. Like, it's neat, but I think there's other things that we could be doing, such as Rigorous Training. I think Rigorous Training is like a cooler card, right?
Fair.
We get rid of you. Hatsume's Design, we're good now because we got the 3 Imperial. Energy Suction, I'm going to kill. There's better low blocks that we can play, and I think that playing multiple attacks is what this card wants to do, and that's not really what our character wants to do. The card kind of fights what our character's idea is. Nurture makes sense to me. I think that this card is cool, but I think there's better things that we can be doing. I know that we're supposed to have more health than our rival, but there's better ways for us to draw cards. Especially because we're in Spotlight. No, you're okay. Hey, it's why I'm here. So from here, we're at 63 still? How is that true? How is that true? I guess I added in 7 cards here. Let's look at block zones. Whoa, we have 100 high blocks. Look at all these high blocks. Okay, I'm going to cut some of these numbers down. I think like 2 Armored Muscle is good. 3 Nejire-chan. 4 is good. 4 is good. 2 is good. I think 2 is good. 4 is good. 3 is good. 4 is good. And then 55. What this means is I get to put in 5 low blocks. That's what's important to us.
Well, how about having 4 Gold Tips Imperial?
We could do that. That is an acceptable thing. The other idea is that we could put in things like Dangerous Combatant, which lets us draw more cards to mitigate us being a 5-hander, as well as things like Steadfast Resolve, which says if you have flipped a foundation, such as, or you ready? Your rival plays an attack. You destroy your rigorous training you built in. You gained 2 earlier. You give their move -1 damage. You take the hit. Respond with Recovery Girl to build back in this rigorous training to gain your 2 health back. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. So like a 2 of this. We said you wanted 4 gold tip. We do 4 dangerous. That puts us to 62. We could cut our number down a little bit. I guess it would be mid blocks, right? Look at mid blocks. You got a lot here. 3 refreshing blend. And then 3 dangerous combatant. This might be where I leave it for our 60. 19, 28, 13. And I have put in your sideboard a ton of different cards that I think that you could swap in and out with, right? I'll Protect You's really good at blocking, but doesn't do the whole life gain thing. Bonds of Friendship is a 1/6, 1 high block that's -3 damage. -3 damage is very similar to gain 3 health, right? Passing the Torch is just a good-ass card. Excited for Blood is just a good-ass card. And so I've left in your sideboard a lot of stuff that, like, as you were playing the game, if Armored Muscles isn't quite doing it for you, you can swap it out with a different high block from this list of options in the sideboard. Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay. Final thoughts before I ship it back to you?
I love the deck, but given that Girl Power's coming up soon, I'll keep an eye on any for every copy of Nedure Flood I'll switch out a Deadly Ambush.
Deadly Ambush. Okay, I like that. The other idea is you could do a couple copies of Naval Laser Charge. Like one Deadly Ambush, 2 Naval Laser Charge, I think would be very good, because this card's a 3 block, and having more low blocks instead of mid blocks is kind of cool, right? 3 mid versus this is a 1 mid. This is a 1 low block. Feels pretty good.
True. Like I said, I'll keep. It basically depends on if I get lucky and get some floods, because the way you talked about it, it's definitely something I want to keep an eye on.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense to me. With that said, thank you again for the support on Patreon. I'm excited to see what you share next month for your Girl Power deck. And you have a good rest of your night, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you.